Yes, election day down to the wire, but questions, of course, are still swirling around whether former Vice President Joe Biden would act as a moderate or swing farther left. Charlie Gasparino has some exclusive details about who Biden is considering for his cabinet and just how progressive or not they may be. Charlie.
At least this is what the Biden advisors are relaying to Wall Street supporters if he does win. I'm saying if. I'm not saying he is going to win. By the way, I've never seen, Twitter, as you know, Liz, is generally a cesspool of opinions, but I've never seen anger ramped up as much as it is now. And I've been on Twitter for a long time. I was on Twitter in 2016, on Twitter before that. And this is pretty nasty. So whoever wins, the other side is going to be really disappointed, and it's going to be a nasty follow through. But just as I'm saying, I'm not saying he is going to win. The Biden people think he is going to win. The Biden advisors, and what they're telling Wall Street is essentially this. And these are Wall Street money guys who gave a lot of money to the campaign. As you know, Wall Street went overwhelmingly for Biden this time around. Again, that doesn't mean he's going to win, but that's what they did because they're betting he's going to win, at least a lot of the big players at the big firms. But the Biden advisors are telling Wall Street supporters that major cabinet positions, Treasury, Defense, Chief of Staff, are likely to go not to the progressive wing of the party. You're not going to get Bernie Sanders as Biden's chief of staff or even Elizabeth Warren, unlikely, as his Treasury Secretary. You're going to get moderate, mainstream Democrats who are less moderate than they used to be. They're much more liberal now, but you're not going to get the far left progressive wing. So so someone like Mayor Pete Buttigieg as possibly a defense secretary, someone considered in the mainstream. He was a former, he served in the military. Lyle Brainerd at the Fed, again, a Democrat who's considered much more mainstream as Treasury Secretary, not the sort of firebrand progressive type. So that means it's highly unlikely that Elizabeth Warren, as it's been reported recently, will get Treasury Secretary. Not saying impossible, but at least that's what they're telling the Wall Street guys and gals, that it's unlikely. Where progressives will show up, and this will have an impact on public policy, Liz, is in the Labor Department, in HUD. HUD is a huge agency because it referees and regulates housing in the U.S., including Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which is very interesting. Whoever's in there will most likely be a progressive and probably stop the recap and release and the sort of reducing of the footprint that the Trump administration under Mark Calabria, who's head of FHFA, is doing. That head of HUD will stop probably what Calabria is doing. If Calabria is going to redo Fannie and Freddie in his image, he will have to do so in a lame duck session, and that will be all-out war trying to really privatize Fannie and Freddie, in a lame duck session. But be that as it may, we also hear HHS, also another place where progressives might turn up. Again, that's what they're telling Wall Street. Maybe they're just trying to calm fears. Maybe they're BSing. Maybe they're not, But they're saying that in the major policy positions, it'll be a mainstream Democratic administration in Treasury, in Chief of Staff, in Defense Secretary, and Secretary of State. Susan Rice probably will be the Secretary of State. And these are all players that have been there, their establishment. Again, they're further to the left than they used to be, but they're not highly unlikely Bernie Sanders is going to be Chief of Staff, Liz. Back to you.